Arkansanity with Bryce Mitchell and Raleigh DeGaldo. Okay, let's hear it. So this guy's a UFC fighter?
Hitler, hell and the Nazis. I really don't think that he was, because I honestly think that Hitler was a good guy based upon my
Oh. Well then, we have passed the Rubicon. For many, yes.
own research, not my public education indoctrination.
Back it up.
Because I honestly think that Hitler was a good guy based upon my own research, not my public education indoctrination. I really do think before Hitler got on meth, he was a guy I'd go fishing with.
Before he got on meth? Is that what he said? What the? Brother. Oh my god, that's so fucking funny. In addition to this, I also like the based on my own research, not my bullshit like public indoctrination. Arkansas ranks 38th in education. Brother, what do you mean? What do you mean? Arkansas 38 in education, 35 in K through 12, and 41st in higher education. Ain't no way Florida's number one. The metrics are skewed. Florida is number one because of higher education. Their K through 12 is dog shit.
I think before Hitler got on meth, he was a guy I'd go fishing with. He fought for his country. He wanted to purify it by kicking the greedy Jews out that were destroying his country and turning them all into gays. They were gaying out the kids. They were queering out the women. They were queering out the dudes. They were, you know what her first tranny surgery ever was? Happened to be in Germany before Hitler took over. You know the books that everybody makes?
Bro, to know about Magnus Hirschfeld's Institute of Sexology and think that it was a good thing to burn it down. That's, okay, he has done research. Okay, he has done some like investigations. He just thinks it's good. Okay, like jail. Like straight to the re-education facility. Like this is what I've described about like people who are like being fed propaganda through their normal media consumption and have arrived at being reactionary through their own conditions, and a nerd for racism. That's the difference. This is a nerd for Nazism. Bro looked at what the Nazis did and went, yeah, that was good actually. What the fuck? If this is a pipeline, this guy walked down a tunnel. Yeah, he was on the water slide. This fucker should be fired out of a cannon out of the UFC, yet Dana White is keeping him because of free speech. Well, Dana White also agrees. Dana White is a white supremacist. I don't think Dana White is like to this level, but he is racist. He's basically running a very public Mandingo operation. For those of you who don't know what that is, slave owners in the Confederate South would host basically like fights to the death with their slaves. And that's essentially what Dana White's operation is, considering that many of his fighters are from, you know, global South countries, and they don't pay them shit. They don't pay any of their fighters an amount of money that is worth the damage they do to their bodies. But he loves getting people from like the equatorial regions of the world that come from like, you know, impoverished areas, and offering them, you know, glory. It doesn't just have to be about race, it's about the poor, you know? Yeah, for sure.
Hitler burned queer books because Hitler didn't want a bunch of queers destroying his nation. They can't produce children.
But what about...
I'm kind of curious about the what about. So this is the master race. This is the, you know, example of like what the master race is supposed to be. A dude who cuts his own hair and can't even make a tripod for his camera. Like, can't even get a tripod for his camera so that it's not literally just on the table. Like, the dude is in a Quonset hut filming a podcast. I don't know who the fuck this dude is, Raleigh, but the look on his face is one of genuine concern. I don't know if this is just how his face is, but that is a look of like, what the fuck are you on about? Here, let's go over Dana White's response to this.
So before we get started here, let me get some fucking dumb shit out of the way first here.
Fascism can often be, I don't know what the word is, but a key indicator would be its buffoonish nature.
So before we get started here,
inelegant.
let me get some fucking dumb shit out of the way first here. I'm out here, have fun doing power slap tonight, and I'm sure you guys.
I'm out here having fun doing power slap, the sport I made to speed run the CTE.
Guys heard what Bryce Mitchell.
Power slap? What the fuck is that, brother? What? Here. It's the combat sport for guys who hate cardio and also, chewing food.
Said, if you haven't, said some probably. I've heard a lot of dumb, ignorant shit in my day, but this one's probably the worst. When you talk about Hitler, he was responsible for the death of 6 million Jews, and he tried to completely eliminate a race of people. World War II was the deadliest war in history.
And property theft.
15 million military deaths, 45 million civilians, and 25 million soldiers were killed in World War II. Was the deadliest war in history. 15 million military deaths, 45 million civilians, and 25 million soldiers were killed in World War II.
I like how he's reading those numbers for the first time ever, but also, what does he mean by military deaths versus soldiers? I'm not sure what he means by that.
Second of all, Hitler is one of the most disgusting and evil human beings to ever walk the face of the earth, and anyone that even tries to take an opposing position is a moron. That's the problem with the internet and social media. You provide a platform for a lot of dumb, ignorant people.
Which is why you're on the board of Meta now?
We've obviously reached out to Bryce, and when we read what he said and let him know how we feel about it, we're beyond disgusted. So, for those of you that don't know what's going on, good, you're lucky. For those of you that do, that's what I have to say about it. Who's got the first question?
Hey, Dana.
Hey.
It's obviously not a fun topic to talk about the Bryce stuff. I think that's a great statement that you just gave. Does Bryce Mitchell face a punishment from the UFC for saying
That's what everybody wants to hear about punishments. Free speech. I don't have to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's disgusting. This is probably the internet. Anyone says this is a moron.
Okay, so what are you gonna do about it?
Free speech.
I mean, what am I supposed to have consequences for the people that work for the company that I own? I mean, what are we gonna start
having consequences for bad behavior? Come on.
You don't have to love it,
I agree with that.
It is live and free on Rumble, so I feel like that's a fitting place for it.
The free speech sentiment. Is there a concern though, right? If he goes out and wins a fight and gets a mic.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about this business. For all of you that hate Bryce Mitchell, you get to see him.
Yeah, the only consequences you face in the UFC is if you talk about pay. Ooh, that's going to be my quote tweet.
Hopefully get his ass whooped on global television. I mean, what do you want me to say about it? You know where I am with free speech. We're disgusted by it. I think he's probably one of the dumbest, literally one of the dumbest human beings. Let's not forget that this is a guy who took a drill through his nutsack, then had to reverse it and put the drill back out of his. That's the level of stupid that we're talking about here. And I could probably go on.
So we're just gonna let that person in an octagon to fight people, and also this is someone who needs to be in a padded cell, not just for the Nazism, but clearly he's a danger to himself and others. And we're just gonna keep that person on contract. He said before Hitler went on meth, that's a guy that I would go fishing with, that he was just a guy who was fighting for his country to get the not my words, his filthy Jews out because they were gaying the children, and then referenced Magnus Hirschfeld's Institute of Sexology, the very first book burning of the Nazi regime, as a good thing because they were doing transgenderism over at the Magnus Hirschfeld. Like, just full-on straight Nazi shit.